I'm so excited just looking out at you. This is a fun time for me. It's a time to say hi again to the people that I work for, and more importantly, to continue what we think we've got and have been going on for the past almost 16 years. Before I go much further, most of you know that I don't go from written comments. If I look down at something, this could be to remind me. But we're here at this place because of a longtime friend of mine and a supporter since back in 1999, Russ Duncan. Please put your hand up, please. Thank Russ Duncan. Look, this is a great facility. You don't have to worry about where you're parking. You can sit down and take your time. And what I want to talk to you about today is just a chance for us to take another step forward in local county government. When I look out at the people, I recognize just about everybody by face. I think one person was brand new, and I think that's good. Recently, I was helping a gentleman in a local issue. Never had met him, had been on the phone with him and emailing with him, and that's how it works with Butch Church. And here he came today, and I had to go up and say, I know you have to be Marshall, and that's all I say because I know everyone else. So what I want to continue doing is what has been going on since I've been in elected office. And that's being transparent for you, being honest for you, being responsive to you. And I think there's many of you here today and many hundreds of other citizens in our area. They know that when they contact me, they're going to get a return call back. They're going to get a visit a lot of times. Most of all, they're going to get my honest opinion. I'm not going to tell you something to make you feel good because my mother told me, there's never a right way to do something wrong. And whatever good it is with Butch Church comes from my mother, Ruby Church. Some of you may not know, but I'm a lifelong resident every day of my life in Roanoke, the Roanoke Valley. My mother, Ruby, raised 5 of us by herself. And she had maybe a 3rd grade education, but the smartest person in this whole world. Smartest person, taught me more than you can ever imagine. So I want to tell you just a little bit about our district. I call it the Glenver Northside Catawba District because when I first started running for office, I'm in North Roanoke, for example. I'm knocking on the door, asking for their vote, and the people who answered the door said, "Sir, you're lost. We're not Catawba." I said, "Yes, you are." Well, I didn't pay much of attention to that until after about the 30th or 40th person said, "You're in the wrong area." That got my attention really quick because I'm thinking we've got 30 or 40 people just in the span of a few days that are not aware where our district covers. So those of you that are here today, you may not realize, but our district is 125 square miles. It goes from the Montgomery County line to Craig County and down Peters Creek Road in North Roanoke. To put it in perspective for you, Roanoke City is 40 square miles. Salem City is 14. We can put Roanoke City and Salem inside of our district 2.2 times. Why is that important? Well, number one, it's important for me because when I go out to knock on doors and campaign, I've got some urban neighborhoods with 600 homes, but out in the Catawba Valley, I may have people a quarter of a mile apart. So it makes going door to door really meaningful because door to door there could be 5 in a few hours. So with that being said, I want to recognize, and it's very important to me to know that I've got somebody from every area of my district. Yes, from the Catawba Valley, Luis and Frankie Garman. They've come a long ways, folks. I mean, we take a lot for granted when we go down to the corner and just everything is really convenient for us. But I've got people from North Roanoke. I've got people from Woodbridge up here, Rustling Farms, Montclair Estates, every area, and even those that do not live in my district. You know what? I work for the entire valley in one way or another. So it's really meaningful for me to have people that here in the audience that maybe don't have a vote in the state, but you know what? They've told me, Butch, I know a lot of people that live in your area, and I think highly of you. So what I want to do is come if you don't mind. I said, if you don't mind, sure I don't mind. That's really music to my ears. It really makes me feel good to be able to be here and talk about where we were in 1999. And those of you who are here in 1999, you don't have to close your eyes and do a dream, but things were not the same. There was no Glenboro Library. There was no new Masons Cove Elementary School. There was no renovated Northside High School. Glenboro Middle School, when I first ran, had been sitting on the burner for years. Nobody would do anything with it. And that was one of my first promises. I'm really proud to say, and I think I'm probably one of the few, and I don't call myself a politician. Please help me, just call me a public servant, because politicians in today's world are not the most convenient thing that a person would like to be named, and I'm sure you will agree with me. Washington, D.C. is, forget about party labels, they've just kind of made us all scratch our head and wonder a little bit. But a public servant is what I really feel in my heart want to be, and I feel like I have been. Think back of what's been going on and what didn't go on in the Catawba, Northside, and Glenboro area. Every time I would go and talk to people in groups, they used the same phrase a lot. We're the red-headed stepchild. I know some of you all have heard that said over and over. We're the red-headed stepchild. We don't get the amenities that other areas get. And you know, I took that to heart. I'm one board member, but you know, take a look around and you'll see the improvements and the things that our areas have gotten. Whispering Pines out in the Catawba Valley. We've got a wonderful, for those of you who don't know, the Catawba Valley Farmers Market that I have been going to recently and I love. They got some of the best food, beef, produce, you name it. This is what being a supervisor is all about. This is not a political speech. It's about human beings and brothers and sisters and neighbors that can come together from all corners of the district and talk to one another. We've got some good food from Chick-fil-A in a few minutes. And I promise people, if I'm still talking at 11 o'clock, walk off. Because I don't want you to be bored with anything I have to say, and please don't do that. But my point is, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to know that you've got someone that has looked out for you and your valley. And by the way, before I forget, the Catawba Valley Sustainability Center, it partnered with Virginia Tech. That's something so important coming down the road. Virginia Tech is a partner at a lot of things that Roanoke County is doing. And there's great things in the horizon, on the horizon in the Catawba Sustainability Center. They're starting some high-tech produce growing and farming, and just kind of stay tuned, because if you haven't been over that way, and I don't get to go over that way all the time, like I said, we're so far apart, but by golly, they know who I am over there, and I'm so happy to have the Catawba Valley in my area. Take an opportunity to go up and see the amenities that they have there. I'm going to look down at a couple of my notes because I don't want to miss some of the things that I wanted to mention to you. A few things other than the items that I mentioned to you is my proposal for a resolution to keep prayer in public buildings. Amen. You know, I want to thank God for what we have today. We can meet and talk freely and disagree and laugh and shout without being condemned and hurt like it in other countries. So let's don't forget, and I know we don't, the freedoms that America has, and I'm so proud to be part of the greatest country in the whole world. One of the things that maybe goes under the radar is an item where I propose to help elderly citizens and disabled to put a tax freeze on their real estate taxes. Now, basically what that amounts to is you can't have more than $200,000 as an asset, but Your home is not included in the value. 1 acre of land, your home is excluded. So those people who are struggling in their older years or have disabilities have an opportunity to have their real estate tax rate frozen. That's important to anyone that's in that situation. I am a firm believer of the old saying, if it's not broken, why fix it? And I believe in myself and I believe in you folks. I don't think we have anything broken in the supervisor's position in the Glenboro Northside Catawba District. I hope you do agree with me. There are opportunities for people to run for office. Normally, people want to do something because something's bad. Well, I feel like I've got a rock-solid record, a record of achievements, a record of genuine concern for the people that I represent, a record of responding to people. I've got folks here that have had me come out and help them lower a speed limit because they are afraid to cross the road to get their mail and get run over and killed. These things are important. In a supervisor, it's Butch Church, when there's only 4 or 5 of you coming to the Board of Supervisors about a small item, it's only 4 or 5 of you. And you know, you may be outnumbered by 200. But if I believe in your issue, I'm going to fight for you as if you were 500. And I think that's what you need. You need to have a voice that doesn't just go along to get along, because I'm not that person and you know I'm not. I believe in what's right. I believe in what's honest. I'm a proponent of eliminating as many closed meetings as we can. In my opinion, every time our board goes in closed session, I think it keeps the citizens away. One more opportunity that we don't have our citizens involved. And in Roanoke County, I'm not saying we do it excessively incorrect, but I think there's too many opportunities to go behind closed doors. And I'm going to object, and I have been objecting, to put a stop to that. Let's do the people's business in front of the people. Many of you know or may not know that we 5 board members, we hire and fire 2 people, county administrator and county attorney. They hire and fire everyone else theoretically. So you might say, oh, we're the big deal. Well, I don't think that way. I never forget that I work for 18,500 people, you folks in particular, and over 93,000 in Roanoke County. You are my employer. And I try to never forget that. When the county officials are looking for a proposal to spend money on, if I think it's out of line, it's the people's money. I have to remind the staff, you know, their budget is not their budget. It's the people's money. Luckily, I proposed, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 3 times in 16 years, a real estate tax rate reduction. It was $1.13 when I took office. It's $1.09 now. I'm not going to kid you, that hasn't helped you a whole lot because assessments have gone up, things are still tough, and everybody's talking about economic development. Well, I'm a firm believer that there are ways that we can accomplish more with less in Roanoke County. I'm proposing and have proposed a regional economic development council. Regional. Right now, when a business, a large corporation wants to land in the Roanoke Valley, they're looking for a spot, pick out Roanoke County if we've got the land. Well, they want incentives, and that means money based on utilities and taxes, and they want several $1 million. Well, we've got Bedford County, Montgomery, Botetourt, Franklin, Roanoke City, Salem City. All of us began competing against each other for the same business. And my proposal says, hey, let's think about this out of the box a minute. If we would have a regional economic development council, one that's central for this area, pool our resources, maybe we could cut out some of the overhead expenses, and therefore if we land an IBM or a Mercedes factory, we may be able to give them $6 or $8 million in incentive, but guess who benefits? All of us. If they create 400 or 500 jobs, everybody wins. We shouldn't have to worry about did they land up in Roanoke County or Roanoke City Everyone in our area will benefit from a large organization coming here if we quit competing against each other. Now what happens is this territorial rights. Nobody likes to give up their departments or this or that, but you know what? We've got to start looking at the big picture and taking care of our citizens. I'm a firm believer we can do more than we're doing tax relief help in Roanoke County. But it takes 3 board members to do that. So, you know, don't give up the ship. Don't think it never can be done. But there are ways that we can accomplish these things. I want to talk just a moment about some things that my mother instilled in me, and I think it's important. Many of you know, going back a minute, I did some college basketball refereeing. It didn't start out like it appeared. I was in business college, and the girls referees didn't show up one day. And I was brassy, and I thought, give me a whistle. Anybody can do this. I'm 18 years old. I made a complete fool out of myself. I had bodies on the floor. I didn't know what to do, and I thought, oh my Lord, what am I doing? It embarrassed me so much that I promised myself, I'm going to learn how to do this. By the way, they were giving me $5 to do that game, and I thought, what a piece of cake. That's a lot of money. So long story short, I advanced, and I didn't start out at the top level, but here locally, building a reputation with communities, North Roanoke, Glenver area. These same people that would boo me from the stands also recognize that I'm honest. And you know what? He's working hard. And you know what? After all said and done, maybe he did pretty good after all. Well, these same people and the players are now coming around and say, hey, Mr. Church, you remember you coached me when I was 10? I said, wow. So they can vote. My point is treating people correct. Treat them the best way every chance you get, because you never, ever know what life will take, what corners you turn, and find out what's going on. Ruby Church instilled in me the love of God, to treat your fellow person, man or woman, equally, to take care of each other. And I want to mention just a few things, and I'm going to end this talk so we can have some refreshments. She wanted me to always stay grounded. 3rd grade education, she said, Butch, don't take yourself too seriously. And you know, being a sports player, you know, I thought, hey, I'm going to be in the major leagues. I was going to skip everything and play for the Dodgers. I had that made up when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was going to be a shortstop. I worried about what Dodger player I was going to replace. That's all I worried about. I'm taking somebody's job. Well, it stayed on my mind so much that it taught me a real lesson. I've come to find out in life that I really believe there's only 2 kinds of people in this whole world. Those who are humble and those who are soon to be humbled. And you know, I learned a long time ago to be humble, and I know that's the easiest way in life, because no matter who you are, how tall, how important, how rich, how poor, humility is not a bad thing. It takes you into the realm of the people that are more like everyone that we live around and go to work with and play and our families associate with. I've also learned to appreciate losing sight. My mother was going blind. My grandmother blind when she died. And little things meant a lot to me. I started practicing with my eyes closed. In a house, on stairs especially. If I go on a trip, people may think I'm crazy. I'll hold on to the rail, close my eyes. I count the steps. People want to know what questions I have at Roanoke County. I say, how many steps is it per floor? Tell me. Just crazy stuff. It's 11 steps each floor. But people who can't see, they are really struggling. And to make myself appreciate that, I just kept my eyes closed and held on to the rail, knowing I've got X number of steps to negotiate. Is that crazy? I don't think so. It's a little bit out of the box. It's like when you open a loaf of bread, I wonder, did the person who tied it, is it left-handed or right-handed? I mean, those are the things your supervisor thinks about. I hope you'll still stick with me after this talk. These are out-of-the-box things, but you know, I care about people. I care about what's going on around me. and I'm there for you. No one can call me or email me and not get a reply back within 24 hours, unless I'm out of the state or I'm in a hospital. I've got people that would take a record of who calls me, a follow-up to keep me from losing track. So everything you're doing is very important to me. My mother taught me a few other things. You know, don't make a mess where you eat. What's it got to do with being a supervisor? Well, it means taking care of things. Give everything you deal with your best shot. She would tell me, Butch, lean into it. Lean into it. And simply what she was trying to tell me was, the outcome may not be that important, but give it all you got. Lean into it and put yourself into what you're doing to try to do the best thing you possibly can do. So I'm going to close my comments. I want to ask, if you will, not just to take and put in your garage, but I've got signs that I love for you to take if you put one in your yard. I've got handouts here. We've got real nice, I think, except for the picture, nice sticker. They're ultra thin vinyl that'll peel right off from your bumper or whatever, and I'll assure you if you don't, I'll come do it. Drive like crazy with these on your car. Not like crazy, drive a lot. Don't be shaking your fist at somebody with my sticker on the back of your car. Little things, but no, I would appreciate your handouts if you take them, if you will. I really appreciate everybody being here. We got people from all, and by the way, I almost forgot, Supervisor Albert Drojan from our district, he's back here. I'm glad. Thank you for coming, your family. I'll close with this. Many of you know that I've got my little Maine Coon cat, my lifelong companion, lifelong 14 years, since 4 weeks old. He's got cancer and got 30 days to live. He's a fighter just like me. He's home resting. I'm syringe feeding him. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to start crying, but you know, I care about my little buddy. Those of you who have a pet, that you know they're family members. And he's going to hang in there, and I'm going to hang in there. As long as he's not in pain, we're going to make things work. I've cried enough behind closed doors. I'm not going to cry here in public. That doesn't mean I'm not capable. But I'm asking you, if you will, stick with me. We've done some really good things. Don't leave me, because I'm not going to leave you. God bless you, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you.